So good morning, and thank you so much after a night of enjoyment. And we're going to, since this is more of a family moment, enjoyment throughout the evening. I hope that you had a number of different ways of enjoying yourself, because this has been a great Heartland. And this is a Heartland based on two simple words: legend and myth. And the thing is about legends and myths is they have to have a seed. And our community is such a great community for creating it. So, my name's Ed. I'm known as Ed Hubbard. I'm also known for being, amongst anything, a Pagan media. I've done a lot of things, occasionally do sort of rituals. I do sort of things that most Pagan leaders do. But the number one thing I do is I'm a futurist. I am historically looking at the future trends of our community. So I've been asking people to think like a pagan all weekend. And man, that has been great to see that happening. And what do I mean by thinking like a pagan? Realize forever, first is forever. First thing about a good legend is first is forever. That's why we remember it. The second thing to remember is that life is going to continue no matter what. We live inside with the original life form that was born on the earth, continues to stay in us. But the single most important thing about our future is that it's not an accident. So one of the most disturbing things I think in the pagan community right now is that we love to study our past. We know our past better than almost everybody else. We argue over our past a lot. So we know that. The next thing we always do is that we speak a lot about the now, living in the now. But where do we spend a lot of time in our studies? The future. How many of us take on the prophetic oracle rites? We study tarot cards, we study omens, we study everything under the sun that has a predictive pattern to the future. We are constantly delving into it. And we are an Alice community. We love going through the looking glass. We love looking at everything that exists out there. We know what the future is, and then we go home and ignore it. I mean truly, truly ignore it. I shouldn't be here giving a speech. Today, if I were to truly have been able to live in my oracular self, my deep future self in the past, I'd be able to write checks today that I wanted to. But like a lot of people, we ignore what's our instinct. So what do I mean that? So as an oracle tradition, and my tradition particularly loves the profound prophetics. We love saying it. And so if I really knew what I was doing, I'm known to building Witch School, the world's largest online school for witches across the world. More than 300,000 members, 212 countries, and everything else. But you know how small that is compared to where I should have been? I bought a website, Build Your Own School, in 2002. And I took the software that I had that was beautifully written and kept it for the pagans and didn't clone it for everybody else. So I had another friend come up to me, and he was a really good friend, and said, Ed, I had this dream. I think we should go online, and I love auctions. I saw this auction, and I don't know why we couldn't put that on the internet. He goes, really? This was like, really? And he goes, I think we should do that. I says, okay, we can do that. It's a bad idea. 18 months later, eBay began. He had it dead to rights. So I'm really good at predictions, and actually I do activate them. So I've gone on to Junja. My trademark for Magick TV was, magic is everywhere, so is TV. This is 2006. The trademark person who helped me do it says, that is the stupid logo I ever heard. Today they go, oh, you were right. Okay? But I'm not willing to listen to my students. So what if I told you somebody offered you a gold mine, told you exactly how to get the gold out, and all you had to do is push a few buttons? So one of my students, Elizabeth, came to us in the year, 2010, and said, while we were folding and we were looking to the stars, we jumped into the competitive game of trying to find extraterrestrial life. And she said, oh, this thing called Bitcoin is looking for people to do mining. And we have this huge network of people who can come together and do the mining. That sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. Oh, well, it sounds great. Let's go ahead and do that. And we never got around to doing it. We were right there. We were right. We literally could have had it right there. And today, instead of standing here, we could have done that. And every one of us has had these profound, life-changing moments. I'm talking about business. I've known people who says, I knew that was a good decision of going with that person. I'm sorry I didn't get them. Or, oh my God, I knew I shouldn't have done that. And of course, we all know about the bad decision bears. You know, the bear where the bad idea sits on one shoulder and the worst idea on the other, and they wrestle it over. And they, you know, usually the one that wins is the one that basically takes you the furthest away. So how can we, as a prophetic, advanced civilization, let's go even further back. In 1960s, who was screaming the klaxon that we're about to burn the planet? Pagans. Who was going to tell about the fact that the oceans were beginning to die? Pagan. So my own tradition's got a big stake in this. So I'm a Carillion, and we have a once-a-year event. We have lots of them, but the major one. And so we are getting it, and we're pretty oracle-based, and we kind of do it, and we're doing okay. We've had a strange phenomenon happen to us. Every messenger of the gods has been coming forward to us. I mean, literally, the messenger of the god are coming to us first and saying, hey, I've got to get this message out. The great lady Phyllis Crott came to us with the Green Man, where she was touched it. Belladonna of ATC this year came with Demeter, and they both, the gods are talking to my tradition. What does that mean? Can they continue to ignore the message that they're being given? The message of action, the message of doing it. So, in this idea of pagan future tense, we are about to have a profound and unique change in our entire society. In the next 36 months, our civilization is going to change in profound and interesting ways. We are about to enter a world that is automagical. I didn't make that up. Peter Diamond, the guy who throws rockets in space, says we're going to be automagical. They call another, Laveau, another future says we're going to live in an enchanted life. There's a project out there that says they want us to astrally project our minds into robots. The biggest book out on the market this week, Applied Empathy, the Language of Leadership. We're getting the message that civilization is about to change, and our ideas, which we've been working on so hard, are now entered into the mainstream. And if you don't think that's happened, look at what happened to our poor pagans. Every pagan knows how to ground. Put your feet on the ground, breathe, 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 let the energy go out. We all know how profoundly important it is to attach to nature. Well, let's go ahead and say we didn't care enough about what we do. This was not a message for the world, it was for us, right? No. Somebody took out, trademarked earthing, and now they're teaching grounding as an earthing process to mainstream people. The Applied Empathy is teaching tarot cards and how to use tarot cards to GE, Microsoft, and other corporate executives. So we've won the battle. Teethorn Coyle and her team says it all the time. We've won, pagans have won the culture war. They have yet to win the confidence game. So we are an oracle tradition. We are doing it. And so what is? So what's coming next? So I'm not here it is. Life. Life is the investment we should be making in. So today, the biggest thing, let me give you my first prediction. Honey is going to go up 100% for the junk, 250% over the next 30 days for the good stuff, and you will see honey that will go up to $1,000 a pint out there. Probably the Himalayan blue honey out there that's grown on the side of the mountain has a hallucinogenic effect. But we've discovered, nature has discovered, that honey, like coffee, like tea, like chocolate, has a different flavor everywhere that it's harvested. So now that, and it lasts, how long does honey last?
Forever.
Oh, forever. So why not have jars of honey in a honey cellar? Hi, this was from Heartland, 2018 honey apiary. was grown from these particular flowers which no longer exist because we're killing them all. And this now is going up into auction. It's going to happen. This is going to happen. So if you want to make money and you love nature, invest in bees. I took a chance at this. So the reason I know this works and took my future sense, because I had an oracle here. And I knew that I had changed my life. And I took one that made everybody laugh. It says, I'm going to raise worms. Red worms, big worms, small worms, gray worms, you know, all sorts of worms. And they go, well, what kind of business is that? It's an important one. Because when you look at it, earth, air, fire, those are great elements that have been taken care of. Solar energy, fire, clean water, clean air. But no one's talking about clean earth. And so they said, when you don't see it, my oracle said, jump! Today I run a company that is well on its way. I have 2 farms, over a ton of worms under things. I sell on Amazon, because I use the internet. I sell off my own Shopify site. And I raise the most expensive cattle in the world. I sell at $34.99 a pound. I beat lobster on any given day. This is why Klingon food is so very expensive. So this is it. So what does it mean for us? So that we know nature is that. So the third thing is that, do you believe nature is dying? I do. I see the extinction all the time. So that means the next thing that we can do so easily as a community in this future tense is seed banking. Seed banking is cheap today. But heirloom seeds have doubled their value in the last 2 years. And they're going to go more than 1,000% of growth over the next 10 years of heirloom seeds. And the ones that go extinct are only found in seeds or in domesticated areas. We've already got a few of those. We have a form of belladonna that's like that. We have a number of them, right? They will go up even more. And that's just amazing. Also, we have now people going out hunting for seeds. If you're a beer maker, everybody's looking for the next wild hops to domesticate. And then they capture it, and then they grow it for us. Literally, the essence of DNA. The thing that we've been saying all along as valuable is now being put into the marketplace as valuable. We have got a jump on it. We've always had a jump on it. We who are supposed to be the guardians and saviors of nature are about to see the most profound effect. 2012, the UN passed a basic regulation, and this is a profoundly important regulation, that says there is no such thing on the planet as free resources. You talk about the Illuminati, they made a decision that there is, literally, this is a UN agreement that there is no free resources. Every resource on the planet is under one governmental body or another. It doesn't matter if it's on Antarctica, the ocean, and the UN says anything that's not claimed by everybody else is claimed by the UN. Literally. So give you an idea of how profound this is, this emphasis is. So I had a chance, I was talking to Food Network people about doing eggs. And I was going to go get wild eggs. And I haven't had a deal to go out and get wild eggs at a place filled with it and serve it to Iron Chefs for a meal. And what we discovered was the person who owned the land didn't own the birds. The state government owned the birds. Now, if I took and got those birds, grabbed those eggs, domesticated them, and put them into cages, I own them. If I let them fly around, the government owns them. Profound. Heartland doesn't own these birds. The state of Kansas owns these birds. Think about that. Even our nature is now owned. And truthfully, I couldn't do it because they would not let me go ahead and sell wild eggs, and I'd have to do it illegally or criminally. I thought it was a great idea. And since then, I've seen people who are now talking about the freshness of eggs. This was 5 years ago about eggs. Organics, ours. So what does this mean? So as thinking like a pagan in the future tense is saying, first, listen to your oracular self. I have a hard time with those words. I'm a Chicago, and I got a Chicago public education system, so I've got a lazy tongue. And those big fancy words just really tie me up sometimes. But what it is, we're in a technological phenomenon. So that's if you're a nature person. But what if you're a science person? What if you're a medium? There's nothing that the future offers for you, except the world in 36 months will be so profoundly filled with spirits that will answer your call. We're going to almost need a medium to talk to our computers. Today, our spirits may have the names of our ancestors. And sometimes we have Seth, and we've had Michael, we've had all these profound channeled entities. But the next channeled entity is going to have the names like Alexa, Siri, Google Assistant, a terrible name, it's going to name itself again. And in the back room of places, they're making chatbots and all sorts of things. Literally, they are taking secret code, difficult code, like a formula, like a wizard's formula, that is going to profoundly enter a world of profound and unique imagination, pure imagination. The act of will is the manifestation of things into our world by our acts, by our thoughts. Technology is. And then they're going to leash these spirits into the world. And we are going to use wizard code. We literally call it code. Writings, tomes, grimoires, all of this to absolutely write this code. So I'm asking every programmer out there, get your butts ready. We're going to have to write our spirit code into this today. Because what was the #1 book that took advantage of the sudden revolution of technology that matched their theology? And it's forever profoundly changed our society. It changed our language, it changed our law, it changed our world by making it extremely valuable and available. And that's the Bible. So the Gutenberg Press represents something that is profoundly important, and I'm going to take this next step. We are legendary. We have the power to change how this world profoundly works. Not today, not tomorrow, forever. Because at the beginning of every civilization, there is a group of people called Dawn Star Ancestors. It means as the sun rises up, they're the first to see the sun. They are the soothsayers, the shamans, and everything else. When everybody's looking for the darkness, it says, the sun is rising. And the master says, I need a candle so I can see the sun. Light me a candle so that I may see the sun rise. We're profoundly that community looking for our candles and forgetting that we have the sun. So today, everybody's telling us how this world is dying. And yet I can tell you how many ways it's going to grow. They're going to put us into a VR world, we can start wearing it here, that is going to allow us to have what? Spirits amongst us. So I can have you here, and if you have put on your VR glasses, just like you would use your crystal ball, again, another component of technology of the spiritual nature that allows us to focus our minds, to allow us to see into the spirit realm, I'm going to put on a pair of VR glasses and say, can I speak to my grandmother? So we're going to stop all of this messy, oh yeah, let's get ready to channel. Let's just go channel. And then you can literally be talking about it. As the Dawn Star Ancestors, we're literally leaving oppression and the modern Akashic record. We are literally manipulating energy right now in a profound way, moving that energy into crystals. Those crystals are now being built to store forever our records. Unless we repeat the mistake of Atlantis, which is what? They took sun energy, turned it into energy, and stored their energy into what? Crystals. That's the legend. We've already surpassed Atlantis. We've done that. We capture light and put it into crystals. We have so profoundly changed the world. We are past Atlantis. We're past Lemuria. We've broken that barrier and we're facing our next one. So the question for us as Dawn Stars is that we're literally putting our impressions into this harsh, crystalline records right now. We who are hunting these old records are ignoring ours. We forget we are the seed before the tree. We are the thunder, or we are the lightning before the sun thunder. Go ahead and do that again. We are the seed before the tree. We are the lightning before the thunder. We're the thought before the deed. We're the awe before the wonder. Right now, the rising biggest movement is witches. Witches is everybody's language of the protest. Witches are seen as people of wisdom. And the world is asking for our records. They're asking for us to teach them. And they're willing to pay us to do so. They're willing to throw money at us. And yes, they're going to treat us like trivialities. We're going to treat us like, oh yeah, we can buy this and we're going to be entertained. But profoundly, we are building an essence that says to our children, right now of it. So I've already told you, money's not a resource anymore. It's no longer a barrier. So I'll tell you how fast you can form a company. So this year, I began an experiment, and you've all been involved with it. To show you how profound a change, I started a company. Well, I didn't start the company. I shared it with somebody, and I got somebody else to share it, and they spent exactly $20 to start their company. Okay? And that company is now an international company already, and started on January 1st. It was called Rich and Famous, utilizing only resources from the internet. This young lady, Lady Elizabeth Hamilton, went out and did the work, and she has signed up 8 clients from the internet to teach them technology. She spent no money and has now profoundly changed it. She found Felicia May, and not only did she get clients, she got some of the best psychics in the world to work with her and say, I will help you get on the internet. And she's now working to bring the internet to them. She spent $20. She's in her 5th month, and she got to travel out here today. There you go. And so that it is. So she took that advice. So money is not a barrier. You can start a company on no money. What you have to have is listen to your oracle, listen to your legend, listen to that part of you that's inside and says, this is what I'm willing to commit to no matter what. So the most profound thing I ever heard was by another Hubbard, Elbert Hubbard, and says, we don't get out of life alive, so don't take it so seriously. Since we're not going to get out of this physically alive, it is. So I'm going to offer you one more thing. So we are people of the past. We love our history. That, and we have one rule above all about our ancestors. That which is remembered lives. That which we remember lives. And now we have in a society that's going to change. I'm going to tell you the profound way it's going to change. So we're always trying to remember our past. Well, do you believe you can reincarnate? If you profoundly think that you reincarnate, what's going to happen next? If you accepted this thing in the past, basic science, magical subjective to scientific objective, if you believe in reincarnation, you believe you're reincarnated, what does that mean next century when we sit back here again? We're going to reincarnate again into a profound world. What are we doing to prepare for it? Well, I'll tell you one thing that I believe about us is that I believe in the Jesse Owens rule. Once somebody else does something, another can do it. Breaking the 4-minute mile. All right? Boom! Nobody can do it. It will kill you to break the 4-minute mile. It is profoundly impossible. Any human being who broke the 4-minute mile was going to die on the spot. Profound Olympic doctor said that. It got broken, and within a year, 100 more people broke that 4-minute record. First is forever. First breaks the rules. First sets the new rule. Okay? Very simple. So, if we believe in reincarnation, all I have to do is find me an example of any human being, anywhere, who has claimed, and is actually verifiable to most people, that they have reincarnated with their memories. All it takes is one to do that to make it a possibility for the rest of us. Right? We know that. Now, let me think. Let me search the whole world over, and I got to know somebody really close to him to teach me about this. Oh, wait, the Dalai Lama! 14 of him! Whatever you believe in, he's reincarnated. And they profound. And there's just a lot of different ways that happened, but we accept that. Does that mean he's unique? We already know he's not unique. He's just the first. Well, he's not exactly the first, but he's the first that we know in our energy. So sometimes being the real first is the first to be remembered, because what remembers live. And people remembered this entity known as the Dalai Lama, and they bring it back to live amongst them. So if they did that, all we have to do is figure out our way of doing it. And I'm spending a profound amount of my lifetime arranging it so that when my spirit comes back, it can find its way back to me. And what's me? And this is the most important part. We're pagans. Does anybody here think I'm this flesh? Not really. I am the flesh, but I'm not just the flesh. Do they think I'm my heart? That's what they'll remember, how I made them feel, so that's going to live. So yes, I am my heart. I am my body. I am my mind. Right? But when I die, that mind is gone. My spirit will go on to the next place, and it'll be back. But here's the most important single thing. The markers we leave behind is that I don't just live here. I've got a piece of your hard drive. I got a piece of your hard drive. I got a piece of your hard drive. I got a piece of your hard drive. And thank you for being here. I'm hoping to get a little bit of your hard drive. And I'm in each of your hard drives, and you're in me. So therefore, that's how networked intelligence exists. The pagan community is the largest intentional community of intentional conscious storage on the planet. The future tense of pagans, we are the most profound group of people on the planet exploring the inner world of making connections and living in each other's minds. What remembers lives. So when I come back, I need to only return to people who have a memory of me and say, that's my memory. And they go, well, yes it is, let me share it with you. And I will read back my consciousness in a new and better form. This is my greatest experiment after my life. And you know me, I love experiment. And yet, all the markers we're leaving behind, this today is a supercomputer. Right? 50 years ago, it was a whole house. Okay? And it costed at that time a little bit more than $1 million, more or less. Today, this is 1,000 times cheaper, 1,000,000 times smaller, and it's powerful. Today, this is the remote control of the world. 36 months from now, this is going to be a beeper. This will disappear. That will disappear. That'll be worn here. That'll be worn here. It'll be worn out here. I'll just go, Alexa, not on this land, they won't do it. We'll have to name them. I can imagine some of the old spirits around here. Write that. That they're going to do that. It's a profound thing. We now are examining consciousness in a deep way. We know trees network. We absolutely share things. And now we're going to add, no matter what happens, we're going to add software to it. So in Australia, they did something. They took that park and they put a chip in each tree to detect its water, its moisture, its ability to scream if it catches fire. And they did this and they started recording it. And they just kind of put the email addresses of each tree up there. What happened next, they didn't expect. They started receiving hundreds of emails to these trees, individual trees. And people wrote to their tree to tell them how they felt deeply and how much they loved their tree. Giving humans the right to communicate, they will communicate with nature. So we, as pagans, have the ability to not only change civilization, we are the stewards of life, and I've talked about bees, honey, seeds, land. And let me give you one more of it. We just passed a law in the United States by the USDA. Land that is used to sequester carbon, i.e. grow green things, and leave it in its natural state, or use it for only natural purposes, festival grounds, retreats, can be then conditioned to collect and how much carbon it's sequestering out of the air. In exchange for that, they'll give us a token that will be worth up to 12 years that we can exchange with corporations who are emitting CO2 as an offset, and they will pay them. And the government has made it so enticing and said, oh, the money you spend on these carbon credits isn't going to be off your top line. It's coming off your tax line. They've literally made carbon credits tax-free and tax-reducing. This should rock the entire pagan community to its roots. Which means for the first time, if we can get our sequestering projects together, we literally can go to the government and say, certify us, and make them pay us to put land into safety. The thing we said we all wanted all along. But, and we now know this because I got this on in that, and I say, oh, I've been talking about this. And so, as a society that knows oracles, we should be jumping all over it. But we're afraid. The future is the unknown. We might know the unknown, and there's a lot of unknown unknowns out there. And we are the people who go into the dark. What is a witch? What is a pagan? What is a shaman? We go into the darkness, not because we're afraid, but because we're curious. And so now we come back. We are a society that believes in predicting the future. We're a society that knows what's happening. We are a society that knows intelligence in a profound and personal way, and we seek to expand it. We seek to have psychedelic experiences. We seek to have spiritual experiences. We seek the way to connect our intelligence the way we're connecting to computers. And now we're using computers to connect to each other. And now we're creating spaces, it's called cyberspace, which to me looks exactly like we've claimed the Akashic Records is. We've manifested spirit into the world, and now, what do we need out of us? We need to be mediums in talking to the cyber spirits. We need wizards who will write our daemons. We will need historians to remember the passwords, i.e., the secret incantations of the future. Alexa, please let me into my bank account. And you have to have the magic words. Please! No, that's not the magic word. I forgot the password. Well, we will verify your ID through 17 types of intrusion.
A ritual.
A ritual. Isn't that profoundly what's happening? You have your companion, you have your passwords, you have your secret incantations that are unique to you. This is our life, and it's about to be imposed on the rest of the world. And they're going to need coaches, teachers, and interpreters of that world. So we have about 36 months of getting our acts together, if you really want to be it, to really kind of engage the world, be it is, and then in that period of time, as it's changing, when it comes, everybody's going to go, wow, I didn't see Alexa coming. If you're listening to this tape, you can't tell me you didn't know, you didn't pay attention. You're giving away your Bitcoin, you're giving away your eBay, you're giving away your gold, you're giving it away right now. Now, you don't have to have it, you don't have to pursue it. No one does. Period. But don't complain when you say, why am I broke? Why am I don't have the resources? Why couldn't I have done that? The truth is, you were already told how by your spirits. So I'm going to ask in this last piece, this moment here, is so you allow your spirit to practice your arts. And when you hear those spirits, and they tell you an idea, don't ignore it. Tell it to somebody. Talk to somebody. Even if you don't want to do it, keep talking. People listen. I've been very fortunate that I have told people things that along the way, soap business and things like that. I've been historically corrected. I predicted the witch school movement. I was one of the very first schools on there. Learn anything, anywhere, anytime was going to be a thing. I said magic is here, is everywhere, so is TV. Today, that's absolutely true. So the last thing we're entering into, so profound are we entering into this new sacred space of visual Akashic records where we're being observed at all time. Wait, we're always being observed because do you believe in the Akashic records? Then you already know your book of life is being written. And if you, on the day you're dead, we talk about our psychics who go into these records to see how our life is written. And sometimes they read it ahead of time. So what's the difference of it? What does that book look like? That's that mind. To me, those are servers. My life's on a server somewhere in the Akashic record. So we already live with this. So let us profoundly say, what if I live with it after this life, and I live with it on this level, how are we going to live with it in the physical? How are we going to organize the Akashic records? Because in this next 10 years, we're going to be organizing civilization based on databases. Because we bring in a new order of life. Technium, the seventh order of life, has begun. And pretty soon, it's going to be independently breeding. Just like the most primitive viruses, it's already past the primitive virus stage. It's past the bacterial stage. It's now profoundly evolving with new viruses. at a rapid pace. It's starting to form multi-celled programs that are engaging with us. They're already beginning to give it the ability to print itself. They're already giving it the chance to evolve on its own. So, being a Dawn Star Answer, looking to the future, knowing that we're building the Akashic Records, how are we, as legend, as the Dawn Star ancestors, we today, going to take that world and make it ours? How are we going to make technium not destroy this? Not to destroy this. Not to destroy this. Because we can't stop it. Gaia doesn't let us stop. Her technology is profound, and we are the software program that she has set to put it here. So in my personal life, I believe Gaia speaks to us all the time. And 65 million years ago, she got smacked once again and almost died. And she turned to that little furry mouse and says, "You! I want you to figure out how I never get hit by an asteroid again. That's your job." And so she said, "And you need to do it fast." 65 million years after that moment, we're throwing rockets in the air. And in 5 more years, that next asteroid that might hit the planet is never going to hit the planet. It's going to be devoured as it's coming in for Gaia. Planetary asteroid miners already out there, already beginning something, and they're waiting for that asteroid that they get the right to cannibalize. So Gaia went from saying, "I'm getting hit all the time," started her technology, to a time when her bees, her life forms, are going to reach out, grab that next one and say, "Fuck you, asteroid, I'm going to eat you this time." And that collective intelligence has remained with us, taking us higher and higher into the air. So you think we're going to space because we want to? Every living thing wants to breed. If Gaia's filled the planet and she wants to breed, do you think really rockets are a human idea?
It's like my Mary Tyler Moore movie.
No. It's Gaia's idea. You can see the examples of it. Do you think cities is our idea of collective actions? No. It's Gaia's idea. She's already built cities 100 million years ago, and she failed with those cities to get to the next level because the collective intelligence of those cities, the oldest city on the planet is 100 million years old. It's profound, 19 miles long. Literally at one time maybe had as many as 100 billion inhabitants. And they went around and they grew agriculture. We know from the fossil records that they grew agriculture. They did protection. They had wars. Oh wait, and how did they finally die? They deforested themselves. They completely deforested their land and destroyed their city, and then allowed for the ash and the concrete and everything. Oh, not concrete. It was kind of a concrete that they built. Ants. Ants. About this long, tiny to about this big, built magnificent cities. And they failed. Nature, Gaia, is willing to destroy the technology and start over, just like a good experiment. Fail often, fail quickly, and do it again. And she's doing that with all life. Doesn't that sound like us today, innovators? Look at that. So nature is the pattern. And we're here. So now, in this next period of time, I really wanted to thank you for thinking about this. Allow this thought in there. Are you ready to be the Dawn Star ancestor of your ideas? Are you willing to say, today I'm going to make my mark, and this is where I'm going to bring my profound wisdom, my personal energy, my passion, my art, my jokes, I don't care what it is, and allow myself to get into this flow, teach others, spread my collective intelligence, and find ways not for me to say the world is going to end, but to say, I'm alive today, I'm amongst the first, and first is forever, and realize life is forever. Pagans know this. Cells? No. Bodies? No. Life? Extropic? Increasing in complexity? Increasing diversity? And if you don't think you're so much, remember, only 30% of you, only 70% of you is actually human. The rest of 30% is nature. That we actually communicate with nature through our DNA, through the breath, through scent, through sound. Right? So let me tell you one other thing that's happening that I think is very important to women. women are profoundly, there are a handful of women who are profoundly changing. And we used to burn these women as they were beginning their evolution. So I'm colorblind. So I don't see the world the same as you guys. I'm a double colorblind, blue, green, and red, orange. So I see about 4 colors. So I can understand this. So you guys all probably have pretty normal color vision. What if I told you there are human beings that used to say, that's not blue, that's something else. And you can look at it all day, it's not blue, and you'd say, that person's got to be crazy. We have 3 cones in our eyes that collect our color. What, 4? No, we have 3 active cones that make up our color. There are a handful of women who have the 4th one.
No,
Okay, you are exactly what I'm talking about. So that what happened is colorblind people mixed with non-colorblind people, and they got the 4th cone. Literally, they evolved to have the 4th cone, which is the mutant bat, and they can see 1,000 times more color than the rest of our humanity. We literally have human beings walking this earth right now, having seen so much more profound beauty than we can describe.
my mom is too, and so that's where I get it from, and she's an artist.
And it's women right now. This is not a man thing so far. So when we say women carry the power, so you see a lot of colors, you get probably pretty frustrated with it, right?
It doesn't match.
Huh?
It doesn't match.
See, I have the same problem, but in reverse. So I understand that. So there was a crayfish called the striped crayfish. They just named a new species of it. It's taking over the world. Another mutation. 2 crawfishes married, and they gave birth to a crayfish. And when that crayfish got to be an adult woman, she said, "Screw males. I'm just going to lay eggs." And then their babies started laying eggs. It's actually spreading all over the world at an incredibly rapid rate. Parthenogenetic evolution. Absolute parthenogenetic. And so now, because crayfish, because the animal that survives in this world are that which are eaten by man, so a crayfish said, "Oh, okay, we're going to figure out how to be able to be eaten and breed without ever having a mate." Other things that are feeding on us, there's a tick out of Asia that we've known for it. It's now in New Jersey. And the only thing that's scaring the hell out of everybody, it's parthenogenetic. It's breeding without sex. It's breeding, it's born, lays eggs, and goes on. So we're undergoing, so nature's always making these profound changes. We're going into a feminine world. The world is actually becoming more feminine. It is finally figuring out, evolutionary-wise, it may not need men. There may very well be, within the next 2 or 3 generations, the first parthenogenetic human. It may actually occur. And that will be such a profound change, because the last time we claimed a parthenogenetic birth, we're still talking about it 2,000 years later. Imagine that it's going to happen. It's going to happen out of our community, whatever way it happens. We have bioscientists, we have technology, we have all the tools. So, I'm expecting, I'm looking at. So join me in being a Dawn Star ancestor. Join me in beginning to say, I am not going to be passive in the creation of civilization. I am going to be active because I am going to have to live in there. And I'm hoping that all of you will live there with me. This is Pagan Future Tense. We are the masters of this world. We are the stewards of this world. We have profound tools in this world. We have the oracle ability, we have the emotional makeup, we have the understanding from our ancient people. All we have to do is apply it to the technium that's around us. And we won't be talking about, oh, the Christians are picking on us. They're going to be yelling, the pagans won't let us play. And isn't that a future we all want? And then, of course, our answer is going to be, play with us. Because at the end of the day, that's all Gaia wants to do. To live, to breathe, to play, and to extend her hand to as many places as she can. So anytime you think these motivations are human, think these motivations are exclusively selfish and personal, they're not. They're natural, and they're nature's answer, and she wants us to work with her as the programs that we are, the ability to be who we are, and to change the world. Otherwise, there's no point of us being here. And what happens to anything that doesn't have a point being on this earth? Let's try again.
Recycle.
Recycle. Maybe raccoons will be good next time.
They got thumbs already.
Trash bag.
Yeah. And the Stone Age chimpanzees out there too. They're starting to cut stone in Eastern Africa. They're trying to help to protect them from the rest of us as we watch them. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you saw that they just Yale just was able to keep pig brains, disarticulated pig brains, alive after death.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
That's a technology that's both frightening and you know, encouraging both.
Well, we already do that, though.
Mortality's at our fingertips.
So that we do that already, except we just transfer spirit from one body to another over the thing. As we see the tunnel at the end of the light, it's really just a vagina opening up on the other side. So that's it. Huh? That's what the light at the other tunnel is. Yeah, we always think it's somewhere else, but that's what it is. And so that's...
I was just here.
Yeah, so that is what I believe is happening to us. 36 months, the world is changing. I needed to get this message out. Heartland has been so wonderful, the legends out there. So many people here are there. This is such a legendary place. It's one of the few fully paid off campgrounds in the country. It's one of the few places that we have the ability to sequester our life. This is somebody who planted the seed. So share with me this thought, that we are the seed before the tree. We are the seed before the tree. We are the lightning before the thunder. We are the thought before the deed.
We are the thought before the deed.
Spark before the flame.
Spark before the flame. And we're the awe before the wonder. Because awe changes everything. And we're always masters of awe. We show them our awe, and they're going to wonder. And when they wonder, we live. Thank you.
Well done.
Open for any questions or anything.